This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you with an article I read from ZeroHedge.com. And it's about utility bills and how millions of and they potentially lose the utilities. And it just seems with so much going on, things are continuing to get worse and become even more dire. I didn't even know, and this even bring to my attention that there was actually a grace period and they had some kind of moratorium for even people who were using power. You can't live without electricity, power, and if they gave you a rent moratorium, I thought I didn't even know they were doing this for utilities as well. Is what it's indicating. As always, I'm going to put a link inside the description and kind of dive right in. Millions of Americans are facing a dire situation of being without power or water. And these are the essentials for existence right now, as the utility bills pile up and as the state and local protections which allow for deferred payments amid the pandemic continue to come to an end. After a summer of rising unemployment numbers brought on by the crisis, though seeing a promising potential softening of the trend in September, the Washington Post recently detailed some instances of people going as much as 2 months in the dark after falling behind on utility payments last spring. It's just terrible in that to see that. The worst economic crisis more than a generation has thrust potentially millions of Americans across the country into a similar sudden peril. Cash-strapped, and in some cases still unemployed, they have fallen far behind on the electricity, water, and gas bills, starting down the prospect of potentially a utility shutoff and fast-growing debts they may never be able to repay. Post summarized. A new National Energy Assistance Director Associate needed an analysis. Soon finally saw the pandemic in the U.S. and resulting state lockdowns. Most states moved to ensure residents that they would prevent utility shutoffs for an extended grace period. But still, the debts have mounted, and at the point that NEADA finds only 21 states, along with the District of Columbia, still have disconnection bans in place. That means that the majority of states are shutting off utilities over unpaid bills. And further, millions more in 9 other states are setting to lose their protection starting Thursday throughout the fall, the group found. WAPO reports the study found that 179 million Americans are potentially at risk of shutoffs due with the big and unlikely assumption the vast amount of households will fail to pay their utility bills altogether. But still, even a small percentage of this number mean many hundreds of thousands of households or even millions face being in the dark. In some cases, the liquid appears to be severe. In Indiana, for example, more than 112,000 households are behind 120 days or more on their power bills. The Washington Post analyst of the largest local energy company records found. The debt totaling millions of dollars is 4 times greater than the areas accrued during the same period in 2019, the data shows. The report further underscored that the nation's electric and gas debts alone are likely to exceed a whopping $24.3 billion by year's end, likely adding to the utilities debt crisis for many families. In fact, that the lockdowns were in place throughout much of the early summer, keeping families indoors more than they would have been at a moment of high temperatures. Wow. It's just a quick article, just puts things in different perspective. And if you're one of the individuals suffering from this, my heart goes out to you. Things are just continuing to spiral down, and sometimes you're not even aware of how bad it is, and even though news reports, because they kind of undercut what the potential is, and they always talk about this up-shaped recovery. But when you see articles like this where millions of people are losing their utilities and can't even imagine living in the dark, it really puts a spotlight into how really things are. As always, I'm going to put a link in the description. This video has been a value to you. Please subscribe, leave some comments, and to my next video, I'm out.